add another round on top of this fucking thing, I'm ready to go because the recovery was just on point.
Well, it's such a big part of your arsenal too, is your ability to push a pace.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the Holloway fight's a great example of that, especially the first one. I mean, you just your pace is so ferocious, and you can keep that up for 25 minutes where you're never fading.
Yep.
It's so giant, man. The difference between a guy who fades and a guy who doesn't fade, it's so big. Because so many guys, especially when you see guys that are coming up in the ranks, they're kind of contenders, they're doing really well. You'll see them do real well in a fight for the first 2 rounds, and then you'll see a substantial drop-off in the third round. And that seems to be the difference between the really elite guys. And I know a lot of it is energy management for sure, but a lot of it is just that work that you do in the gym to make sure that you can push that crazy pace.
Well, a lot of, like you said, you want to be able to hold that energy, but then you've got sessions like your sparring and all that type of stuff where you can do that, but you need to have sessions that's going to get you ready for a fucking war. And that's what we do. Like I don't want to experience an uncomfortable feeling in the fight. I'm going to experience it in fucking camp.
Right.
I'm going to go to literally, like I get nervous, as I say, I get nervous for some of my sessions. I get more nervous for my sessions than I do for my fight. Because I know I'm getting fucked up in this, I'm going to be very, very uncomfortable, but I accept that. You know what I mean? So we do sessions where you are going to breaking point, but you just so I've learned to just accept that. And then from being in them positions, like I get tired, but I don't tell myself you're getting tired. It's like, I've fucking done much worse in training. Let's go. So I'm just going to pick up the pace again. So I literally, we do that in some of these sessions where, I'll be honest, a lot of people don't. Like there's sessions that we were doing in our sort of like during the tough series and that, and I don't know if they're probably like, fuck, you know what I mean? I'm like, mate, like I'll do another 2 or 3 of these types of sessions. I'll just bring one for you guys, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, man, like a lot of people just won't go to that. Obviously some of them aren't like full-time fighters and whatnot, but again, I want to be, I'm expecting to go out there and the fight not be that hard, but I'm going to be prepared for however hard it gets.
Yeah, that's the thing too about being a part of an elite camp, right? Like everyone knows that they're going to do that, and everyone knows how to do that. You know how to like push literally past your limit. Whereas you see guys where they're the kind of the king of their domain, and they run the whole camp, and they're kind of in control of everything. It's like it's very hard to force yourself to go through hell. Some people can do it, but you really kind of want a bunch of people going through hell with you, and you want someone who's the general.
You can't have yes man. And just be like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to chill. And you just chill the whole way through. You're going to have guys go, no, fucking get here and get that session done.
When Conor fought Dustin Poirier the last time, one of my friends was watching one of the interviews where they were talking about how Conor can basically just train himself now. And my friend goes, the fuck he can. That ain't good.
Well, look,
man.
I
mean, I don't know what caused it. I mean, I think I'm of the belief that it's the low calf kick that was the big issue in that fight. His leg gave out, and then when his leg gave out, he kind of knew he was fucked. Yeah, and it looks like
It definitely was the calf kick. But I mean, you can see in a lot of his fights where you're going to start. But again, he's very fast twitch.
Yes,
and he's an opportunist. Like if there's a shot there, he's throwing that fucking punch as hard as he can.
But you're a fast twitch too.
Yeah, look, I guess
that's what's different. It's like you don't get tired like that.
That's one thing that I must just have but I mean, if you look at like when it comes to explosiveness, there's guys that are a lot more explosive than me. I feel like I've got this really good balance.
Middle ground.
Yeah, this middle ground where I've got that cardio, but I've got the explosiveness. I don't know what it is. And maybe obviously the training, Mike, with Joe Lopez, the way like we've been training, he's always put me in like these sort of positions, as I said, like, being uncomfortable and all that, you're pushing the pace and all that, so I've always had that anyway. But I mean, I feel like there's a lot of things for me that made it work, a lot of different things. Obviously there's a lot that comes into training and all that, but even maybe my build, or maybe just through life the way I did things, and maybe that's I built that type of cardio or fast twitch. I don't know, but there's a lot of things that come into play that make me be able to do what I do.
Now, when you see a guy who does get tired early, like a guy who's real fast twitched and explosive and get tired early, do you ever think like why? Like is it just a cardio issue? Like they haven't pushed themselves hard enough? Do you think it's an energy management issue? Maybe, is it a combination of things?
Maybe a combination thing, but I mean, being in that, like again, if you're always trying to be in a position where you're comfortable and all that type of stuff, as soon as it gets uncomfortable, you're not thinking right, you're struggling, you're like, oh no, like you're starting to doubt yourself, all these, But again, that's why we put ourselves in that sort of position. But I notice it, like especially when you're fighting or even sparring. Everyone's fucking good for the first minute.
Right.
They're on point. They're
Yeah.
eager. You can't slip up for a second because they're ready to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
1 minute goes by, next minute they're looking for give me a second to reset here. I'm like, I ain't giving you fucking shit. I'm in your face, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? And that's it, and you just see them crumble. And,
Yeah.
but early, I can't do that. I have to, wear them out and then be on them, and then you just start to see like their reactions from the first minute to even the second, completely different.
Yeah.
And just be like, thank you.
Doesn't it seem like that should be doctrine? Like that should be understood in every camp. Like
I wish I didn't fucking say it. Maybe.
Here's the thing. I think
it,
you
but-
can say it, and I don't think it matters
Yep.
because I think it's a will issue. Like some people just don't have the will to push themselves in that way, or maybe they don't think they have to, or maybe they're deluding themselves and they think they're pushing themselves harder than they really are. Like maybe, like if someone like Conor came and trained with you and saw how you prepare, maybe he'd be like, oh fuck. Like obviously the guy's super fucking talented. Obviously he rises to the occasion. Obviously he handles pressure as good as anybody alive.
Yep.
But there have been moments in his fights where he's faded, and not faded like a world champion, faded like a guy who's got a flaw, like he's got a hole in his game. Like you would expect world championship caliber fighters to be at the elite of the elite. Their energy management's on point, everything's on point, cardio's on point, the training camp's on point. Unless there's an injury and there's some sort of a pre-existing problem, they shouldn't have those energy management issues.
Yeah, well, like maybe even again, he's fast twitch and he goes for the kill.
Yeah.
So if you throw a jab and that he sees an opening, he's got a good eye. He's gonna fucking pull that trigger. And when you know you've got a hard workout, maybe I'm not pulling the trigger. Or when I'm sparring, that I'm not pulling the trigger because I don't want to knock out my training partner. But I mean, once I'm fighting, I am literally throwing everything in this fucking punch.
Yeah.
And the opportunity, again, I'm in his face because he's the type of fighter. He gets in your face, makes you panic punch, and just capitalizes every time. So he wants to be there in the heat. He wants to be in the fire because he knows people are going to make bad decisions, and he capitalizes on it. But I mean, again, that's putting himself in a position where he needs to go a lot harder, especially when he's trying to go for the kill at the same time. Maybe there's a balance that he needs to. I don't know what it is, but again, going back, like when we're talking about like adversities in the gym and all that type of stuff, like that's why I love this sport so much. I feel like there's a lot of gyms, obviously, that's just how they are. It goes discipline and all that, like all these great, life skills that we take out of it. You know what I mean? And the adversities that you do in the gym or in our gym, and what I've always done with at freestyle and even city kickboxing, like I feel like that just helps when you're under the pressure outside of the MMA or whatever. Like you just deal with things a lot better, just because again you've been in uncomfortable positions and you've had to adapt and be able to move forward and look forward. And again, you see that with a lot of people that they're good under pressure and all that type of stuff, and then you get people that aren't and can't.
That's really one of the best things about